Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us this afternoon. My name's Kerry. I'm the product owner for Twinkl Symbols, and this afternoon we're going to be discussing the Twinkl Symbols Web Tool and how you can use it to create your very own symbolised resources. Okay. So, very quick introduction into what is Twinkl Symbols for anyone that is newer to these product lines, and then I'm going to take you over to the web tool and take you through a step-by-step guide to creating a set of flashcards, and now a next schedule, a more generalised schedule, and a reward chart. And then, as Emily mentioned, there will be time for questions at the end if you have any. Okay, so just a very brief introduction for anyone that isn't too familiar with Twinkl Symbols. So Twinkl Symbols is a product that offers professionally designed and illustrated symbols-based resources and digital tools that can support children with SEND and speech, language and communication needs. Now, we do have 3 different product lines, so there's 3 different aspects to Twinkl Symbols. Some you may or may not be aware of. So we've got the Twinkl Symbols resources, which are the resources on site. So they're an extensive range of ready-made and ready-to-print symbolised resources linked to the curriculum and everyday subject situations. We've got the Twinkl Symbols Web Tool, where you can create your own resources, which is what we're going to cover in just a little while. This is a web-based tool where you can create your own bespoke symbolised resources using a bank of over 2,000 symbols and 150 templates. And then we also have the Twinkl Symbols for AAC app, which is an app that you can use out and about on the go, which provides you with symbolised support to facilitate communication and access wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So we're going to have a little look now at the web tool. So just bear with me one second while I change my screens. Okay, so how you find the Twinkl Symbols Web Tool. Twinkl Symbols Web Tool, and then it is this entry at the top, so Twinkl Symbols for AAC. Okay. So from that point, you then have this screen here. So this is our Twinkl Symbols Web Tool landing page. So you've got a little bit of an introduction at the top, and then as you scroll down the page, you have got the range of templates that we have ready made for you on site that you can use. So you can have a look through any of these. We've got communication books, now and next, first and then, and other sequences, timetables, schedules and planners, rewards, targets, debriefs, and then we've got a whole host of flashcards. So we've got landscape, portrait, circle-shaped flashcards, landscape grids, and then you've got your picture and word banks there. So if you click on any of these here, for example, the now and next, it will give you a little bit of information about what is a now and next, how it can be used, and why you would use it to support the children that you're working with. Down here, we've got alternatives. So if this isn't quite what you're after, you can have a look down the bottom and it will give you some suggestions of alternative resources. And then we do have some explainer videos at the bottom. So you can either click on this green Start Creating Now button, and that will take you straight to your template, or you can go back and select a different template, or you can just go to Start Creating Now. But first of all, I'm going to show you how to create a set of flashcards. So I'm going to go for some landscape flashcards that are over here, and I'm going to click on the Start Creating Now button. Okay, so this will take you into the web tool itself. Just to talk you through the page, at the top here, we've got the different categories of template which you can flick between, but you can also scroll down the page and you will find the different templates there as well. So if we go into landscape flashcards, so we have 3 here. If you click on View More, then it will give you lots and lots more to choose from, different shapes, different sizes. You've also got some ready-made flashcards here, which you could go into and just tweak or amend, edit, or you can go into something completely new. So I'm going to go into this one here, the 3x2 flashcard. So from that page, you will your template will be displayed on the screen. So if I just draw your attention first of all to the bottom toolbar in the right hand corner. So you've got your plus and minus symbols here. So if you wanted to make it larger on screen, or you can use the slider, just make it a little bit easier to work with, you can do. You've also got another button here, add new page, so you can click that and that will add in a new page. However, that page there is blank. It doesn't have the template on. But if you did want to duplicate this template where you've got the 3x2 flashcards, you can just click on duplicate page and that will add that page in for you. You can, with the next button along, you can change the orientation of the page. So you can just click on that. It will, on some templates, obviously you've got two cells here that you can't access properly, but you could just delete them. But if you decided that you wanted to stick with the original landscape orientation, you can just click that again. And then if you decided that either one of the added pages you didn't want, you could just click on the page and then go to the dustbin symbol down here in the right hand corner, click that, and you'll be prompted there as to whether you want to delete it. Okay, so if I now draw your attention to, so if you click into a cell, you will have a new toolbar here at the top left. And this is how you can start to modify the templates to reflect the type of resource that you want to create or that you need to create to meet the needs of your user. So you could click on the cell individual cell that you want. And if you click onto this fill button, you click onto the white square, it gives you some preset colors which you can choose from. And this will actually fill the background of your cell so that you will have the symbols that sit on top of the background color. So you can click on one of the preset colors. You can use the slider, or you can click within this spectrum box at the top, or you could even put in your own hex code. So if I decided I wanted to choose a yellow background, I could just click on that. And you can click through those as many times as you like until you get the color that you like. Now, this is really, really useful if you've got any students that are using colourful semantics to illustrate the different word categories. So that's a really nice way of using the colourful semantics approach with symbolised vocabulary. But in this instance, I'm going to keep it white. Okay. So again, with your cell highlighted, you can click on this button here, stroke colour. So this is the outer edge. So this outline, the border of your symbol. So again, you can choose different colours. I know in some settings they choose to have a different coloured border around symbols rather than a background colour if they're doing colourful semantics. So if you wanted to choose red, you can then drag the slider here to make that more or less apparent. So obviously 0 being that it's not there at all, 100 being that it's, you know, a bold, bright colour. And you can also use this here, the stroke width, to change the boldness of your border. So you can make that more or less as to, you know, as to whatever you would need it to be. This section here is about the shape of your cell. So you can increase the roundness of the cell. You can take it all the way up to being a complete circle. So if I take that off, that's now a circle flashcard symbol. Or you can take it all the way back down the other way to make it a complete square, as so. But again, that's personal preference. You might, I know in some instances it's easy to have a more square cell so that it's easy to cut. But again, it's total flexibility there. Across here, we have got an arrange. So if you click on that, perhaps if you had a text box or another picture or another symbol, you can arrange them according to your needs, so that perhaps the symbol's always on top, but you know, you have your coloured background at the back, so you know you're able to see everything that you need to see. So you can You can personalize exactly where you want everything to lie on the page. With this next button here, the duplicate object button. So if you've already put your settings on this cell, you know, you've got a red border that's slightly rounded, you could just duplicate. So you've got two of those and then click on it so that you've got the blue outline and the squares. And once you've got that, you can move it around the page. So even within the templates, you do have the flexibility to make it look the way you need or want it to look. And then you could also delete that. If you are absolutely happy with your symbol and your cell, and you don't want to make any further changes to it, you can press the lock position, and that will lock that on screen. So then you need to fill your cells. So I will draw your attention to the symbols and illustration tabs here on the left. So being a symbols-based product, for the majority of your needs, I'm guessing that symbols would be your first port of call. So to get a symbol to go into a specific cell, you need to make sure that the cell's highlighted with these squares and the blue outline. And then perhaps if you wanted to create flashcards around a trip to the farm, you could type in your search term and press enter. And you will get all of your search terms down here, all of the symbols that has the word cow in it. Now there is lots and lots of symbols there. If you're not sure what the image reflects, and by that, I don't mean that in a negative way, but perhaps you're not sure what text is going to come up, you can hover over the symbol. So this is the symbol for beef. So once you click that into your cell, that the label beef would go in with it. So we've got cattle, but I just want one cow on its own, so I'm going to click that symbol. If you are in a setting where you only use black and white images, at the top of the screen here, you can select this box, and that will just show you the black and white images. So again, you could find the image that you wanted, click into your cell, click on the symbol that you wanted, and that will populate the cell for you. Now you do have the option to have the symbol, but without the label. So if I didn't want the label, then I could click on here. I want a colour image this time. So I could click on the cow symbol again. Oops, I could highlight myself, click on the cow, and that would put that image in there without the label. And obviously the size of the image is slightly bigger. Okay, the other thing that you can do is in some settings, as you can see on the screen there, we've got the image on the top and the text underneath. If you're in a setting that has the text on top, you can click into, oops, you can click into the, oops, no, it's not going to work. Try. You should be able to. Let me try a different one. Okay, so I've got my pig symbol, which is down here. And I'm going, I know why, because I haven't got a label on. Okay, so if you make sure that you've got the label on, but if you wanted that label above your picture, you could click on this one to add label above the image. You could find the image that you wanted, click on your cell, and it will come up as so with your text above the symbol that you've chosen. Now, from this point, you can, so if you have this image here, you can change the text. So if you click on the text that you want to change, it will automatically open the text box, the text edit box on the left-hand side of the screen. So from this point, the first thing you need to do is highlight your text. Otherwise, any changes that you make are not going to be reflected within the symbol cell. So you could change your text, your font. You can change the size of your font. You can change where it sits on the symbol. You can make it underlined, italic, struck through, or none of those. You can also change the colour. So when you're happy with the text changes that you've made, obviously this one is now sitting off the symbol cell. So as long as it's highlighted, you can then pick it up and drag it to where it needs to be. So if you have specific fonts in school that you use, that can be really helpful. If you've got, you've got younger learners perhaps that need larger text, you can make all of those changes within the text edit box here. You've also got at the bottom lots of different symbols that you may or may not use or need. Okay, so from this point, if there is a symbol or an image on here that you don't like perhaps, or you don't need, you can click on the picture and you can delete it, and you can click on the text and delete it. Now, if you wanted perhaps a slightly different image of a pig or a chicken or a horse or a sheep, and you couldn't find the symbol, I mean, these are the symbols for pig. If you couldn't find anything there that really captured what you need, then you can go over to this illustrations tab on the left. So if you click on that, because you've already got the search term pig at the top, you can then click through all of these illustrations or search through them all. Now these will be illustrations that come from Twinkl wide. So there's a whole host of images. There's some that are more cartoony. There's some that are more realistic and lifelike. So it's just a case of going through and finding exactly what you need. There's lots from the story, the 3 little pigs here. You've got a nice puppet one there. So if we clicked on that, where I mentioned before about hovering over your symbol, so this one, the label, if I hover over it, it says hand puppets, pig and pirate, because that's what the illustration shows. Obviously, in here, we've only got the word hand. And it's not really reflective of what the symbol is, so we could put big puppet. And again, you can move that around, you can change the font, you can change the size and the colour to whatever your needs might be. Okay. If you decided that you didn't want this cell, or you accidentally deleted it, and this one, you can go over to shapes on the left. So click here, and it will give you a whole range of shapes that you can add in. And there's also lines there if you want to make, underline something, or you wanted, I don't know, to make like a page divider. But what I wanted to draw your attention to was this top one here. So this, if just by clicking on the shape, that will place a shape onto your piece of paper. You can then resize that and position that wherever you want, and that effectively becomes a symbol holder, a symbol cell. So you could then put in whatever symbol you chose in there. Okay. That doesn't work with all of the shapes, but it definitely works with this rounded square and the more angular square. So, if you accidentally delete something, it's not the end of the world, so please don't worry. You can put in your own shapes. So that is how you would create your own set of flashcards. From here, you could at the top right hand there, you can name your set of flashcards and click save. And then you can click on the right hand side there where it says download. It will give you a preview and you can save and download. And then from that point, it will just tell you that it's creating your resource, and you will get a pop-up say that your flashcards are ready to download. You can open those. They come up as a PDF and you can print them. Okay, if you wanted to leave this page now, I would just go to the top left where you've got the symbols logo, and you get back to this page. So you can either create new, by going to the left toolbar here or clicking on here. Or if you decided that you wanted to go back into the resource that you've just created, you can click on My Saved Resources, and that will bring it up here. From here, you can delete it if you decide you don't need it anymore, or you can click delete. If you wanted to duplicate it, so perhaps you like the template, but perhaps you just wanted to tweak the symbols a bit, or you wanted to use it to make similar resources, similar flashcards, sorry, for another child or another topic, you could duplicate it, and it would just prompt you here to give it a title, and then it would save it. Or you can click edit and it will reopen it to where you left, and then you can go in there and make any changes that you need to. If we go back to home, and this time we're going to create a now and next. So I'm going to click in here. Okay, so again, this has come up with a series of now and next templates that you can use. The ones on the left, we've got 2 that are ready-made. So like I mentioned before, if they're exactly what you need, great, you can just open them, save and download them and print them. Or you can go in and perhaps change the symbols, change the text to whatever you need. But on the right here, we do have some blank templates for you, and I'm going to choose this now, next, and then. Okay, so this is our new template. Obviously, we've got our text here. So we've got now, next, and then. At the moment, they're not symbolised, but I'm going to show you how you can symbolise them in just a second. So first of all, I'm going to click on my cell, click on symbols, and I'm going to type in shower. And then I'm going to click on this one. So brush teeth. So I mean, that in itself has just shown you how quickly you can use this to create something, you know, perhaps if you need something quickly, but even if you don't need it quickly, it really doesn't take you that much time when you have the templates in place. But now I'm going to show you if you wanted to add in your symbols up here. So you'd create your shape like I showed you before, and you'd position it where you needed it. And I'm going to add in 2 more. One there. Oops. And then to get that to symbolise, I would click onto the first cell, click back into symbols. Now this time, because I've got the text there and it's nice and it's big and it's bold, I don't think I need the label on that symbol cell. So I'm going to get rid of this by unticking here where it says add symbol label. And I'm going to search for the word now. And find my symbol. And there it is. And so that will give me the symbol for now without the text. So I can still use this. If you wanted to, you could delete these just by clicking on them. And you can delete at the top. If you'd rather it be within a symbol cell, that's fine. There really is an awful lot of flexibility with this. So again, I'll show you with the next one. So if we typed in the word next and scroll down, so we've got this one. And again, we haven't got that label in there. Some settings don't use the words now, next, and then. Some settings use first and then. So this is where you can go in and edit your text. Obviously, you would need to change the symbols that went alongside, but you could edit this text here just by highlighting and changing it to what you wanted it to say. Okay, so we've got first and the next one would be then. So that is how we would create a now and next. We go back. I will show you how to create a schedule. So again, going into the templates that we have available, we have landscape ones, portrait ones, we've got ones where you can put in times, we've got some where we've already got the days as placeholders. There's lots and lots of different varieties. You can use these, or like I said before, you can create your own from a blank sheet of paper. So I'm going to try this one, I think. This one. So this one's quite nice. It has given us the days of the week at the top, and then you've got 2 spaces for 2 activities. So perhaps a morning activity and an afternoon activity for each of the days. And for example, with the summer holidays coming up, it might be that a child or a young person needs an indication of what the plan is for the week. So again, you would just click in to the cell that you wanted, and you would type in the activity for that day. So it might be symbols. So you're going to the supermarket on Monday morning. We would find the symbol that we wanted, click into the cell. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have an ice cream. Okay. And then you could complete each of these in turn with your activities for the week. Now if, oh, Monday's disappeared. Let me just pop Monday back in there. So we've got this one, there we are, it's a Monday. So if you were adding all of your activities for these to these different cells, on Tuesday you were going to go to the cinema, and then Tuesday afternoon you were going to go to the library. But you had a sudden change of plan, and actually you couldn't get tickets for the cinema on Tuesday, but you can go on Thursday. So all you need to do is click on your symbol, drag it over to Thursday, click on your text, drag it over to Thursday. So even if you've got something in place, it can still be moved around. And you know, these changes happen, changes in plans, and to be able to respond really quickly by just, oh, let me just amend this resource and we'll reprint it, and then it's exactly what you're going to get that week. That can be really helpful. Now you can add in headings and titles. So if I put in a shape at the top, it might have to be a slightly smaller one. So I've just gone into shapes. I've chosen a rectangle and I've put it up here. And I should be able to put text in there. So let's just say James's summer holiday schedule. You can click add new text box, click on that, and you can reposition it so you can give it a title as well. There we go. So you can, this is what I mean, the templates are really helpful. They speed everything up, but you can still adapt, you can personalize, you can change colors, you can change fonts and sizes to really meet the needs of the individuals that you're supporting. So that is our schedule. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you, if we just go to here, was a reward chart. These are used in lots of different classrooms. So if we went to rewards and targets, again, we've got lots of different ones. So we've got ones here where you've got each of the days of the week, and you've got a space to put in a sticker or a symbol for morning and afternoon. But I'm going to go for this 3-step reward on the right. So this will load and show you the template as you can see on screen there. So it might be that in these squares here, you would have numbers. So you could add in, so you could do a search for 1. Oops. We're going to come up. You can see how many symbols we've got on site. Okay. You can just put in text if you wanted to put in text. So if I type in a number 1 there, just for speed this afternoon, you can make it, I'm going to put 60. So add your text box and you can drag it onto your square. Oops. make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So you could then duplicate that. Put one over your second box and then amend it. So you go back over to the left-hand side and change that to a 2. And then you could duplicate it again. Click on it, drag it over, and then amend it in the box on the left. So you could have a 1, 2, 3. So perhaps they would put a sticker or perhaps an arrow or something onto each of these as they achieve them before they get their reward. You might have a child that has a specialised interest. So it might be that they're really interested in space, for example. If I get rid of these. Perhaps they're really interested in space and rockets are really motivating. So it might be that in each of these symbol cells you would put a rocket, because every time they did something really well, you could give them a rocket symbol to put on top, perhaps. Now, the first symbol there, it's got the label rocket. On this next one, I don't think I need it. I think it's going to look better without. So we can click onto the add symbol label and de-tick that box. And you can click on rocket, click on this one. So if I just get rid of these, I can add in another rocket there. Okay, so those are our almost placeholders, our tokens. And then here you could put in your choice of rewards. So it might be that the child or young person that you're supporting, their motivator is the sensory room. So you can add in your symbol. You can search for that over here. Click on the symbol that you want, and that will pop that in there. Again, I haven't got the text label on that one. It might be that you have a series of rewards that a child really likes and is willing to work towards. So if that's the case, then you can duplicate the page. If you highlight all of these, and then you click up to delete them, and then you click on this larger square and you duplicate it. I don't know, if there's 3 activities that they really, really liked, you could duplicate it. Oops, so it duplicates the symbol. I'm going to move this one just a little bit. And then if you duplicated it again, put it down here. So now you've got 3 potential reward symbols. I don't know, perhaps you could have iPad, and you could have swimming, swimming pool. There we go. And on this one we had sensory room. So then with that one, you could delete the motivating activity off your template board. So that would be your base board that you would have displayed either on the wall or maybe on a child's table, or maybe you've got it printed and laminated. And then this one gives you your options of your reward activities. You could cut these out and laminate them, perhaps put a bit of Velcro on them, so you could interchange what went into this box here. If you wanted to have rocket tokens effectively that a child could stick onto these, then all you need to do is highlight this baseboard page and go to the bottom right where it says duplicate page. So you've got 2 pages there, so you could cut these out on the second page and have them as tokens that you could add on to this baseboard page. Other things that you could edit on this page, so you could change the colour and the thickness of your borders. If you've got any children or young people that have a visual impairment, making a border thicker or thinner or a certain colour so it's more highly contrasted can be really useful. You can, at the top, you can change the heading for this, so it might be that it's James's reward. And again, you can make that bigger, so I'm going to make that 40. Let's just highlight it. There you go. And you can adjust this. It does stretch it, but it will then put it back to where it needs to be. If you wanted, you could modify this so that there was more than 3 tokens that needed to achieve their reward. So you could click on one of these squares, duplicate, click on it again to highlight it, and then drag it down. And again, you could do that again. So click it, drag it over, and then you could add in your rocket symbols in there. So perhaps they needed, there we go. So they needed to achieve 5 rockets before they could access any one of these, their preferred rewards. And again, you can save this and download it and print it off, but it will always be stored on your account. So to find it again, I'll just remind you. So if you go back to the left here where it says symbols, that will take you back to your home page. Anything that you've created, you can go into my resources and they will be there. So that's that one that we just created there. Before we finish, I also just wanted to show you, if you've seen all of the templates and you couldn't quite find the one that you wanted that would meet your needs, if you click on Start Creating, you do have the option down here to click a new document, and that will give you a completely blank canvas. So you could put in your title across the top, you could put in as many or as few symbols on there as you needed to meet the needs of the child or the activity that you were doing. Just to add, on the left here, we've got guidelines. So if you click on that, you've got lots of different options. So you've got some where you've got smaller guidelines. You've got some where you've just got lines on the page that you can follow. But these are really good if you were putting in your own symbols. So if we're going to put in a symbol here, click on the shape, drag it out to the size that you want, and then you can use these guidelines to arrange them on the page. So if you were going to add a second one, you could make sure that they were all nice and neatly in line with each other. And again, you can add in, if you go to text here and you typed in title and add text box, that will appear on the page and you can position it wherever you like. So these won't be symbolised, but as I say, I've showed you how before how you can add in your symbols if you do need them to symbolise your headings and things. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you this afternoon. Just to note on this page here, if you ever have any difficulties, if you click on this FAQs button here, it will take you to another page where there are videos and step-by-step instructions to using the web tool. It also gives you the link to the Twinkl Symbols for AAC mobile app as well. So if you click on that there, it will take you directly to the page where you can download that and find out a little bit more information about it.